Dear Lord, 13 through 19. Dear Lord, this is me, BJ Carson. You know the one you made too short, but that's okay. I know you had your reasons. I know I don't pray very often. And I know you haven't seen me in church lately, but I feel like I need to pray or something. There's some stuff I don't understand about this accident, like why it happened and why Rob had to die and why I didn't die. Mama keeps hugging me saying, "Praise the Lord," and stuff like that. What about Robbie's mama? What is she saying? Is it my fault that Robbie is dead? I wasn't driving. I wasn't even drinking. Andy and Rob and Tyrone all knew that I didn't drink. They never bothered me much about it. I think they even respected me a little because of it. I told them that drinking at an early age had stunted my growth, so I had given it up in favor of other vices. Actually, I think beer tastes like boiled sweat socks. So they knew not to push me. Maybe that's all I have left over from those days when I used to go to church every Sunday with Mama. So why do I feel so guilty? I don't sleep good at night. I keep seeing the fire and hearing his screams and feeling so hopeless. He was too young to die like that. It's not fair. He had a chance. Was all this done to teach his kids a lesson? Will it stop us from drinking and driving? Maybe a few, but the rest will keep on doing it no matter what. So I still don't understand why. Mama says the Lord knows all, and that He, in His infinite wisdom, knows the reason for all things. But Mama is getting old, and she's known a lot of people who died, so she's probably understands all this death stuff a lot better than I do. Maybe I should have tried to stop them that night. Maybe I should have been driving. But I'm always so glad that they included me in their group. I hardly ever tried to change their plans. I'm just glad to go along. Actually, I never really understood why they liked me. They're all tall, popular with girls, and basically outrageous. Me, I'm short, never once made the basketball team, kind of quiet, and I'm still unsure of myself when it comes to girls, but somehow I was always one of the boys. And the four of us did everything together ever since 7th grade. And I've just been glad that I had such good friends. Now one of them is gone, and I feel responsible. I think I'll go to church with Mama this Sunday. I know people will say that's because of this accident that I came back to church. Well, they're right. I'm not too proud to know when a problem is bigger than I am. Of course, most things in life are bigger than I am, but I'm learning to live with it. Please, Lord, help me learn to live with this too. Thanks for listening. See you Sunday. My most frightening moment. Rhonda Jeffries English homework, November 16th, personal essay topic, my most frightening moment. Last week, I learned that kids my age could die. That was the most frightening experience I ever had. A boy that I knew really well, that sat next to me in study hall, died in a car crash. It all started at school on the day before the basketball game. We were all sitting around on the steps of the school. Talk about nothing, really. I think Gerald was complaining how ugly everything looked. There was no leaves on the trees, and everything was all muddy from the last time it had snowed. Our school building must have been built a million years ago because it was brown and tall and raggedy looking, but it fit right in with the rest of the day. Then Robbie said He knew how to brighten up a day. He talked about bottles of sunshine that were sitting there on the shelves of the liquor store on 4th Street. Andy said he knew how to get some beer and he'd have it the next day after the game. The bell rang then and we went to class. I forgot all about that conversation until I heard on the news that Robbie had been killed. Next day, everybody at school was crying, even the people who didn't know Robbie. Even the teachers, that's all they ever talked about all day long. They even had TV cameras here getting close-ups of kids crying and stuff. I didn't cry. I felt sick inside and mad at Andy and them for drinking in the first place. I thought we'd all come back for our reunions and then we'd get old. And then when we're so old, it doesn't matter anymore. We died. We'd have died. But he's dead already. I didn't think it was possible. And that's why it's so scary. The Hazelwood Herald, November 16th, special edition, in memoriam. Robbie Washington, captain of our basketball team, was killed after the November 7th game in a terrible automobile accident. A memorial service was held here at school last week where students, teammates, and staff expressed their grief. Robbie always had a cheerful grin and positive attitude. He was a talented athlete and an honored student as well. Hazelwood will miss you, Robbie. Teacher of the Week, Coach Mark Ripley. This week we feature Mr. Ripley, head coach of Hazelwood track and basketball teams. He began coaching 10 years ago and has led our basketball team to the city finals 6 times and has to the state finals twice. He is married and has 1 son. Coach Ripley is very popular with the athletes, well as the other students. He always has time to stop and listen if someone has a problem. He sponsors 2 SADD groups, Students Against Drinking and Drinking Drugs, and Student Athletes Detest Drugs. Hey coach, can we talk? Hey coach, what you doing? How are you? Andy, how was your first day back to school? Not good, not so good, coach. It was rough. I feel okay. I mean, I ain't really busted up that bad. I got a few bruises and burns left over on the outside of me, but the inside of me is hurting. You know what I mean? I hear you, man. It's a rough scene to handle. How about your friends and your family? They're behind you, aren't they? Yeah, I guess me and BJ and Tyrone will never be the same, but we'll always be real tight because of this. And the other kids are trying real hard to understand, are really hard to be understanding. Well, you know how it is. My dad keeps telling me to be strong and put this all behind me. My mom won't really look at me. She cries a lot, but she hasn't said much about the accident after that first night. What about you, Andy? How do you feel about all this? This is quite a bit for you to handle. I'm okay. Come on now. You just said you feel like you were hurting inside. What's going on? Well, if you really want to know, I wanted to die right after the accident. I wanted it to be me that was dead instead of Rob. He had so much going for himself. He would have gotten that scholarship too, coach. You know he would have made it big in the pros too. He was 6 feet 5 inches and still growing, and he was my friend. You can't blame yourself forever, Andy. And if you had died instead of Ron, would you want him to be hurting like you are now? I don't know. I'm all mixed up. How long have you been Ronald's friend? I remember the first time I saw him, tallest kid in the 7th grade. He and Tyrone were best friends from elementary school, and they went around calling each other Tyrone and Roberto, like some kind of weirdos or something. Later on, they started calling me Nini, but it was never as cool as their names because Andrew just didn't sound good ending with an O. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hear you. After I got to know them and the three of us started hanging together, I decided it didn't sound so bad. Anyway, the first day I saw him, he was picking his hair out with this red pick with diamond-looking things on it. I went over to him and said, "Won't your mama get mad when she finds out you took her pick?" He slowly put the pick in his back pocket, slowly looked at me, and then proceeded to beat the snot out of me. We've been tight ever since. Nothing like a good fight to start out a solid friendship. Me and Rob and Tyrone had most of our classes together and even went out for the junior basketball team together. BJ tried out too, but he didn't make it. I guess you know, Coach, that BJ has tried out for the basketball every year for 6 years, including junior high, and never made it once. He keeps saying he's going to be the next Spud Webb. Also, Spud Webb is a basketball player that is short, BTW. I'll continue reading, sorry. Yeah, that BJ is something else. He's got more guts than I'll ever have. It was BJ's idea to try to climb on the hood to rescue Rob. Like I said, he's the one with the guts. From what I hear, you have your share of guts and courage too. Without you, the other boys may have been injured more than they were. Wasn't it you that helped get Tyrone and BJ out of the car? I don't believe everything you hear. I think it was the other way around. Actually, I don't really remember. But I couldn't get to Rob. That's right, you couldn't. There are some things that are beyond our powers to control. I could have controlled the drinking. I knew better. We all did. We just had never figured it would happen to us. I hear you. I never will know why I didn't get hurt worse. I should have been hurt so bad that at least I had to stay for a couple months, but they let me go home in 2 days. My burns weren't too bad. Well, except from the miscellaneous band-aids, I'd say you look pretty good. Have you recuperated from that court ordeal yet? After I got out of the hospital and after the police investigations and I found out that I had to go to court, I was really scared. I really appreciate you coming down there, Coach. No problem, kid. Just wanted to let you know we're all behind you. I was surprised so many kids from school was there. All the kids from SAD, several other teachers, of course, Rod's parents, my parents, and Keisha was there. It was almost as bad as a funeral. When the judge talked to me I cried in front of everybody, I was kind of embarrassed, but I guess that was okay. I guess they understood. A lot of them was crying too. I was too, Andy. There's no shame in cheers. Coach, can you explain something to me? Sure, Andy, if I can. I've been charged with DUI and vehicle homicide, but they dropped the vehicle homicide charge because of my age and good driving record. I ended up getting my license revoked until I'm 21 and a 2-year suspended sentence. Even I thought it was a real easy sentence, maybe too easy. Do you think that was right? Shouldn't I have been sent to jail or something? The judge did what he thought was best in your case. Andy, you gotta stop punishing yourself. I think I would have felt better if I would have had to suffer and I complain a little. You are suffering, Andy. The judge knows that. We all do. And we'll help you all we can. You come see me whenever you need to talk, okay? Yeah, man, thanks. When can I play ball again? What does your doctor say? I have nothing broken, just some slight burns, a few cuts, and a couple of ugly bruises. When I was in the hospital, they all ran all these tests, but everything came out okay. They told me I was lucky. Yeah, right. Don't you have to go to health clinic for your alcohol rehabilitation